Hey everyone, I just want to give an update to the KSI and um, Tommy Fury fight. I, in my opinion, and the opinion of many, he got robbed, and I'll explain why. There's probably three key reasons I believe he got robbed. Um, the first big reason is that Tommy Fury, he only got 1 point deducted for the back of the head shots. He's done it. He did it multiple times, and it should be a point deduction for each time. So really, it should have been -3 points. Now, if that happened, there's no way anyone would be able to rig it so that the boxer could win. But that's probably why the referee only deducted 1 point, even though he did it before multiple times. He was called out for doing it, and then he was doing it after he was called out for doing it. But eventually he stopped because like it was getting a bit too blatant. Like you kind of the whole if if they cheat too blatantly, it's just gonna it'll make a joke of the sport, and people are gonna see past the bullshit and leave, or stop watching or stop paying for the pay per view, and it will be unhealthy for the sport. So they can't. They need the better boxer. I mean, they need the boxer to win. They can't let the YouTuber win, but they have to cheat just enough to win. They can't. They can't be too blatant. Otherwise, people won't take it seriously. Now, here's the second reason why I think KSI won. So the scorecards. If you look at the scorecards, the second one, like the middle one, round two is scribbled out so that um, to make it so that the final score would be a draw for Tommy Fury. So it's questionable, was that done before or after um, the round had just taken place, or was it done at the end to make it seem um, like Tommy had won? However, if you take away the point, like if you take away the point deduction, it's not even a draw because he has it written as um, 57-57, even though there's a -1 point deduction. So it should be 50, 57-56. And I don't know, he didn't calculate it properly. And it's like obvious because it's literally -1 point and he didn't take it away for some reason. Now, maybe I have somehow I'm reading it wrong, or like it doesn't work like that, but there clearly was a -point deduction. The referee stated that that's not up for debate. There was a -point, um, and yet um, suspiciously it was a 57-57 instead of a 57-56. Right. Um, then the third reason is because if you look at round one, two, and three, arguably go to KSI. Even if people are debating whether round five went to KSI Tommy Fury, but it's like people are either gonna take away three or five and three, and they will give KSI one. Like I haven't seen anyone be biased enough to say uh, Tommy Fury won round five and three. No one is saying that. So basically, we have KSI winning 3 rounds, no matter how you look at it, and Tommy Fury winning 3 rounds, right? And then you take away the -point for the hitting at the back of the head, which is as good as a knockdown. It clearly shouldn't be a draw. And you say, even if you're super biased and you want to say that Tommy Fury won 4 rounds, which is, it didn't happen. Um, well, okay then. He was also hitting at the early stages in the fight. He was hitting KSI in the back of the head, and that's illegal for a reason because it like affects the equilibrium, and that puts him at a disadvantage for throughout the rest of the fight. Like, it's a dangerous thing to do, and he did that early on so that he could continue the rest of the fight at an advantage. So, like, that's clearly unfair, and it should have been more than 1 point taken away. It should have, in my opinion, be a disqualification. Like, especially, there was also a punch after the bell, which is, again, there was no point taken away for it. So it's like, there's too much corruption and too much cheating that I can see it. It's not it's not like undercover enough that they can get away with it. Like, people can see this shit, and it's not fair. And he didn't deserve to win. He didn't deserve a draw. He deserved to lose. KSI deserved to win. Um, and like, the fact that it's not even a draw, it's a win. It's like so corrupt that you shouldn't. Even if you are a Tommy Fury fan, you should be able to say, hold on a second. If even if Tommy Fury did win 4 rounds, the minus point deduction would have made it even again. So, like, you know what I mean? It's it's crazy, and it's too corrupt for people not to see it. And I hope KSI gets the appeal, because he won, in my opinion, and in reality he won. I'm not even gonna say my opinion anymore, because, like, if you look at the stats, this was actually gonna be another point, but if you look at the stats, whoops, KSI only he landed one hit less than he threw less hits, but because his accuracy was so much higher than Tommy Fury's, he only landed one less punch. So if there was no point deduction and only the stats were used, Tommy Fury could win by like the skin of his teeth. However, when you take into consideration the point deduction, he loses, and he loses by slightly less than a full round. If it is to be believed that, well, I've been told, and like everyone has said it, that a knockdown is, I mean, sorry, a minus point deduction is as good as a knockdown. Um, so it would have been that amount of one punch more compared to one knockdown more, basically. I I probably could explain that better, but I think most people, they understand what I mean. Maybe some people are gonna be delusional on purpose and like say that they don't understand what I mean. Here I'll break it down simply. So basically, if the only thing that separates them is a one punch, and then you consider the 1 point deduction, which is as good as a knockdown for KSI, it becomes a knockdown versus one punch. So clearly, the knockdown would have more value. So therefore, KSI would have won. And that's according to the official stats. Not any judges or any. If you're trying to argue that, you're literally trying to argue the facts of the match. So you can't. You can't win that argument. And I think that will be brought up during the appeal. I think the appeal is literally gonna go from a win to a loss, and if they want to be really corrupt, they can say it's a draw, but it was not a draw. KSI won, because I don't think, if they're corrupt enough to say that, oh no, the appeal didn't matter, actually KSI still lost. It's just, I hope that the whole influencer boxing thing just ends completely, and boxing can just go back to being corrupt fights for pussies who won't fight in MMA. And the whole spectacle of the influencer boxers that has brought life to it and has brought a new generation, they can go away and you can go back to being corrupt and a lesser sport than MMA, because MMA is the full skill set. And the argument between boxing or MMA, it's stupid because MMA is every sport. So the best boxer in the world, if they go into MMA, well, the other guy has more tools at his disposal. So of course the MMA guy is going to win. Um, and that's why Dylan Dennis, he wants to rematch with Logan in MMA, and I don't think. Hopefully, Logan is not. You see, Logan has done wrestling and stuff, so it's not exactly like he's only been a boxer his whole life, because that is definitely not true. But if he was a boxer his entire life and he'd accepted an MMA rematch, he would lose, and it would be obvious because no matter how good you are as a striker, if that's all you have, you'll be shut down by the rest of an arsenal that someone who has a full skill set of um, a different sport that counters it, such as wrestling. Like we seen Conor McGregor, he was a great striker, but he got out wrestled by Khabib, and Khabib got hold of him and made it so that he was not able to use his striking skills. And there's many different forms of martial arts that shut down skills that you would learn from boxing. Uh, for example, taekwondo, because you're using your feet, which is like your legs. They're stronger muscles than your arms, so it's gonna pack a bigger kick than the biggest punch. But yeah, that's just my real rant because I'm pissed off that boxing is still corrupt after so many years. Um, and it's sad to see because if they give the decision to Tommy Fury after the appeal, it's just it's gonna piss off so many of the new generation, the new fans who only came into it because of the influencers, that it's gonna be so bad for the health of the sport, and it's something where I think they're gonna say it will be a draw just because they want to have their cake and eat it, where they don't want to say that the boxer lost, but they don't want to piss off the new generation of fans. So I think that's how they get the best of both worlds. But if they do it, I for one, I'm gonna see that as corruption. Because if you look at the stats, like I said before, you can't argue with the facts. There's a knockdown to one punch. The knockdown wins. Um, and when I refer to the knockdown, I'm talking about the point deduction, which is as valuable as a knockdown. Right, so yeah, I'm gonna end the video, but I am pissed off, and I do hopefully on Wednesday, we get the appeal result, because I was watching a video. Joe Fournier, uh, he got a DQ win because of KSI's elbow punch. Um, and that appeal happened like the Wednesday after the fight. So hopefully this happens the same way. And I really, really hope that they don't half-ass it and give him a draw, because that's the safe move. It's the coward move. Um, I hope they give him the win he deserves, because he earned it. And I should probably link the interview in the comments or the descriptions or something. But if KSI has worked so hard for this, and he showed up and he did what he had to do to win, and he gets robbed, and like goes to the gym and like works his ass off when he doesn't need to because he's already a millionaire. It's not fair. Um, it's not fair to have so much passion for something and give it your 100%, and then because of where you came from, because basically you're seen as a YouTuber rather than a boxer, that's why you lose, that is bullshit, and that it's disheartening. And it's like, if they want to be that corrupt, if boxing wants to do that, well then okay. KSI should take the viewers he's brought to boxing and put their views elsewhere, because clearly the organization, it doesn't deserve the support it's being given. And it's a dying sport as well, because as I said, MMA has taken over. People have realized that MMA, there's more of a skill set shown. There's more of a fighting skill set shown. So boxing really is just, it's kind of on its, it was on its knees, and now it's like, because of these influencers giving it um, the light of day, it's now relevant again. And it might not have been, and it might not be if it continues to be corrupt. So I don't know. I do like, I like the whole entertainment aspect of it, and I would like it to continue. But if it's gonna be corrupt, and they can't have YouTubers prove themselves against boxers without it being rigged, it's just, it will be stupid, because it's always, they will never be allowed to prove their point that they are as good as professionals, because that's what they're always dogged on for. They're always basically humiliated for the fact that they're not real boxers, whatever that means. But you know, if you show up and you do it and you fight and you win, you deserve to win. You shouldn't. I'm repeating myself because I'm pissed off, but I think every point I said has been said. So I'm gonna end the video now.